welcome to Rev Sports. It's mid innings, the first innings of the India versus Australia. Second ODI is done and dusted. 264 runs on the scoreboard with the loss of 9 wickets. But of course, all attention will now be on the fact that Virat Kohli has gotten back to back ducks in Australia. Last match, he got the first duck of his life, of his career in Australia. And this time around, the table did not turn. On the flip side, you've got Rohit Sharma with the 73-run innings. Shomik, I believe this must be the most relieving half century for Rohit Sharma.
The most struggling half century. He channeled his Bombay Maidan Khadus. He rode the storm initially. He was prepared to look ugly, and initially he was struggling, especially with Josh Hazlewood and Nikhil Stark. But it's at the same time, it's a very smart innings. The way he targeted the fifth bowler and the sixth bowler. Um, it is about, obviously, it is about experience. He was prepared to bide his time. Uh, but I was a bit disappointed in the sense that having done all the hard work, the way he got out, that is one thing. That is one thing. He was looking good. The way he was batting at that point of time, he was looking good to carry on. But then again, that extra pace of Mitchell Stark, and at this stage of his career, at 38 years of age, Rohit would always find it difficult to handle that extra yards of pace. So that is one thing. Maybe against a medium pacer, that would have gone over the deep backward skill like 46. He struggled. He gritted his teeth, and he said, "Never say die." And that is the hallmark of a top player. Good runs and runs, and it will give him a lot of confidence going into Sydney. It is one of the upsides of India's innings today. Um, I'm happy for Rohit. I have seen his training sessions at close quarters in Bombay. So the hard work, the effort he has put in. So I'm happy for him. At the same time, I'm not too convinced either. I'm not too convinced either. So it's a catch 22 situation, but enjoy as long as it lasts.
Bharat Rohit Sharma back amongst runs. As Shomik rightly pointed out, he was struggling quite a lot at the start with the kind of consistent lines that Josh Hazelwood and the rest of the Australian bowlers were bowling. Shomik says he's not convinced. What about you? A 73-run innings, but what did you think of Rohit Sharma's batting today?
In his defense, one has to say that there was consistent nip of the surface. When there is consistent nip of the surface, it's not so easy. There's no technique in this world, I think, to negate consistent movement off the wicket. Yes, there's a technique in swing bowling, but not so sure against sea movement. So that is the defense, I would say, for Rohit Sharma. And you can see it with the stats as well. Josh Hazelwood drew a whopping 44.4% fall shots. That's a clear indicator of the kind of movement that Australian pacers were getting. Thankfully, Hazelwood didn't get a single wicket. So from Rohit Sharma's perspective, I think it's a good thing because he was able to wade through that particular phase because you need a little bit of luck when the ball is moving around like that consistently. Thankfully for the Indian team, after the first 15 overs, there was less movement. Australian spinners were introduced, and that really helped Sharma and Shai Sayer. So I would say, in my humble opinion, I think it was a good effort from him, considering the kind of movement that was on offer in the first 15 overs. And India ended up with a competitive total. Yes, they would have needed, I think, maybe 280 would have been a very good score, but still 264 is not a bad score at all. And both late order batters, Harshit Rana and Arshdeep Singh, used the long handle to good effect. And that was also nice to see because Indian lower order batters making useful contributions is always a good sign. So I think India are in the game, but again, India's bowling attack, I think, is what can I say, pretty modest. So Australia would fancy their chances.
Before we get to talking about how India can defend this, we've got Shubhayan joining us. Oh, there we go. There Shubhayan is. Shubhayan, Rohit Sharma back amongst runs, but Virat Kohli back to back duck for him. Everyone on social media talking about that goodbye from Virat Kohli at Adelaide, him getting a standing ovation from the crowd and him raising his gloves multiple times while walking out. What does that signal? Is it telling us something, or is it just Virat Kohli bidding goodbye to Adelaide Oval?
I think it is Virat Kohli bidding goodbye to Adelaide Oval, a stadium which has given him a lot. His Test captaincy career started from this particular venue. Overseas batters with most centuries, and Virat, as I had said in the morning show as well in the pre-match show, that he has hardly praised any cricketing venues publicly. But for this venue, he has always had good words to say whenever in interviews or wherever he has gotten that opportunity. So this stadium has given him a lot, but sometimes life is like that. You expect something. When we did our morning lives as well, when we spoke to the fans as well, everyone was optimistic that okay, Perth was very spicy, but this is the ground Virat has dominated in his entire career. He was coming into this particular match with back-to-back centuries, if I am not wrong, in ODI cricket. His last two outings were centuries in this venue, but again, this is something which tells us about life, that you don't always get the perfect farewell. For Virat, I think the chapter has closed when it comes to the Adelaide Oval, but don't read too much into the lies that he was saying thank you, he raised his glove, whether he's retiring after this game. I don't think that's the case. He will definitely play the Sydney ODI, but it was very those last couple of moments after Virat got out, after the umpires raised his finger, he knew he was out, but he walked to Rohit Sharma, had a conversation. Rohit told him it's plumb. And after that, even Rohit's head fell as soon as umpires raised his finger for that dismissal. And just underneath the Don Bradman pavilion, where the members sit, and it was a packed pavilion with plenty of Indian flags and posters. But when Virat started to walk, his head was down. But the last 20, 30 steps, he realized that the entire that stand has gotten up for him and is giving him a standing ovation. And just to acknowledge the crowd, he was disappointed after getting out, but his head was, even if you see the pictures that are going around on social media, his head is down, but his glove is up. So that was just an acknowledgement of a thank you that the stadium, the fans, Indian fans, have given him so much love in this venue. The stadium has given him so much success in terms of runs and his captaincy as well when he was the captain of the Indian team. So that was just an acknowledgement of whatever he has received from the stadium. So don't read too much into retirement. Whenever he will retire, he will retire. Whenever Rohit will retire, he will retire. Just enjoy these moments when these two legends of the game are playing out there. But international sport is cruel, Gaji.
It absolutely is, and cricket is a great leveler. But tell us about the reaction, a little more elaboration on what was it like in the press box as well, because I know that many Indian journalists have grown up watching Virat Kohli, then have covered him from the very beginning of his career. And we all know, I mean, all of you sitting there would know that you're seeing him for the last time in the that venue and second last game in Australia as well.
It's a relatively quiet press box. Surprisingly, not many people are here. Only one, two, three, four Indian journalists are traveling, including me. A couple of BCCI media managers. That's it. Six Indian people were sitting there. If you count Bharat Sundaresan, then seven. But everyone was quiet. Everyone was in shock that on Australian soil before this series, Virat had never scored a ODI duck, but now yeah, we got to witness back-to-back ducks. Um it was a bit shock. We were taken aback of what just happened in front of our eyes. But after Virat entered, we came into a group and we were discussing that life is cruel. This should not have happened to him, etc. etc. But after that, when Rohit was initially looking a bit rusty, but as soon as Rohit and Shreyas started to stitch that partnership, we all again went back to our seats and started to watch the match again. But those 5 6 moments, 5 6 minutes were a bit quiet. We all were taken aback of what we had just witnessed. The commentary panel is just beside where I am sitting right now. there's a class panel, but a transparent one. So after Virat got out, I was clicking photos, but I just looked towards the commentary room. I won't take the name of the former cricketer, former Indian cricketer, but he was sitting with his heads down, with his hands up in his head, and he was disappointed. Everyone was disappointed after what we all just witnessed. Uh, but on a good note, Rohit got some runs. Initially very rusty, but after those two pull shots which ended up in sixes, I think he opened up a bit and scored some good shots. That lofted cover drive also was a thing of beauty. So good things have also happened in this innings. But now we'll hope that the Indian bowlers will live up to the expectations and try to defend this one. Although it looks a bit tough, it is a good batting deck. Australia were brilliant with the ball. All the pacers, especially Xavier Bartlett and Josh Hazelwood. Josh Hazelwood, I think he bowled how many dot balls? 40, 45 dot balls, if I'm not wrong. He was absolutely brilliant. Xavier Bartlett, we spoke about him in our morning show. Uh, he's a very good bowler, and he showed what he can do with the ball. Adam Zampa was really good, but in another instance, I think Harshit Rana getting some runs will stop the trollers from criticizing him too much.
Necessarily. Yeah. Uh, Bharat and Shomik, I hope you don't mind. I will throw a couple of questions at Shubhayan before I can let him go and we can continue our
I
discussion. But Shubhayan,
Gargi,
yeah,
when you are done with the questions to Shubhan, I also have a question for Shubhan.
go
Sure,
ahead.
sure, Shamika.
So
Okay, so
shall I go
Shubhayan,
ahead?
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. So Gargi, please, you go ahead, and then when you are done, I will ask him.
All right. No, Shubhayan, I was going to ask you to throw a bit of light on the Australian bowlers. Xavier Bartlett, especially the kind of ploy that he set for Virat Kohli, he swings it both in and out. Plus the way that he was, the ball was going out for the first four deliveries, and then one just keeps straight, and that was a brilliant variation that we've seen from Xavier. Brilliant, brilliant talent that's coming up Australian ranks.
Yeah, and that is why he was picked up in the IPL as well. Not a lot of overseas pacers who have not played a lot of international games get picked up in IPL, and that is what he's all about. He has been very impressive in the BBL as well, playing white ball cricket for Australia, and he has that wrist position. More than swing, I think he has that ability to seam the ball both ways. Scramble seam again. I think the Aussie pacers Hazelwood and Xavier Bartlett used the scramble seam to perfection today. Hazelwood, particularly in that first spell, was jagging the ball around of the deck. Xavier Bartlett, and credit to Mitch Marsh also. He rested Mitchell Stark after a couple of overs and brought in Xavier Bartlett when the ball was relatively new. So brilliant piece of captaincy from Mitchell Marsh as well, to use his resources to the best of their abilities. And Xavier Bartlett, who those who have seen Xavier Bartlett in BBL won't be surprised to see what he did today. He's quick. He has that probing line and length. He knows which deliveries to ball, and I think we did not see a lot of Yorkers, but in T20 games he has a good Yorker as well. He's a tall guy. Calm. Has a very straight up action, high arm action. So he has that. I won't say he's very similar to Josh Hazelwood, but he has that similar ability to make the ball bounce from a certain length, 4 meter, 6 meter length, where the batters don't expect the ball to come hard and hit the top of the bat pretty hard, but he has that ability. So very promising talent in that regard, Gazi.
Shomik, go ahead.
Yeah, Shubhan, before you go and grab a quick bite, please tell us something about Shreyash Iyer's throwback floppy hat. I mean, who was the last Indian batsman to bat in a floppy hat? As far as I can recall, it was Dinesh Pongia, I guess.
Hasn't I
that
think KL also has come out a few times with the floppy hat.
But did he
I
bat in a floppy hat?
I
I
think
think
I
so.
think we have seen a lot of fielders wearing that floppy, but batting wise, I think Shreyas Iyer is turning the clock back, replicating almost. I called him half Shivnarayan Chanderpaul today at the press box, and everyone was laughing. He has tweaked his batting technique a lot. Very strange. Shivnarayan Chanderpaul was more open. but he's half Chanderpaul, we can say, at this moment. But again, I was surprised to see not see the Aussie bowlers bowl a few short ones to him, more short ones to him. They, I think, played him in his area, and to the credit of Shreyas Iyer, I think he did really well to, at least arrest the collapse and stabilize that India innings. But floppy hat question is a really good one. I think we'll have to do some research on who are top last five batters to wear floppy hats. I think that's a good piece that the interns can write in our content group, Shavinda.
Yes, yes, because as far as I can recall, mine betrays after 30 years of cricket reporting. I think maybe it's Dinesh Mongia. I can't recall anyone else apart from Dinesh Mongia batting in a floppy hat. But excellent, Shubhan. The coverage has been very, very good from Australia.
Thank you so much.
So please carry on and go and
Thank you
have
so
your
much.
quick bite.
Thank you so much. I'll go and join the Hindi show first before. I'm pretty hungry, so I'll go and grab a quick bite. Thank you so much, Shavinda and Bharat and
See
guys.
you. See you. All right, we're back. The three of us are back now. Shamik, I was also going to ask you to talk about the Australian bowlers because the kind of consistency that we've seen today, that was incredibly dangerous. Josh Hazelwood, Xavier Bartlett on his debut bowling like that. I mean, that's some phenomenal bowling that we've seen today from the Aussie bowlers, and that's something you expect out of them.
Yeah, absolutely, Gandhi. But you have to add something into it. That is the way the bowlers were complemented by fielding. They were not dropping anything. And the ground fielding, I think they have probably saved around 15 to 20 runs. The way that Mitchell Stark at around 40, 35, 36 years of age, that catch on the boundary line, the presence of mind. Bowling was complemented in the first ODI also. They are not dropping absolutely anything. And it was the conditions were wet, the ball was wet, and when a cricket ball gets wet, it would feel like a soap cake. And Gagi, you know this because you have played cricket. So those of us who have played cricket a bit, we know how a wet ball can become like a soap cake. So they are not dropping anything. And as far as the bowling is concerned, say Josh Hazelwood, he is such a fantastic, fantastic bowler. You'd pay to watch him bowl, and he's such a and Bartlett, Mitchell Stark, and the way they complemented each other. And spare a thought for Adam Zampa. People are talking about spin will not be effective with small in smaller side boundaries at the Adelaide Oval, stuff like that. The way Gunaman bowled very well in the first ODI, and yet they replaced him with Adam Zampa in this game. And look how Adam Zampa performed. And see, quality is quality. Quality, irrespective of the dimension of the ground, irrespective of which conditions, everything, irrespective of all external factors. Quality is quality. Adam Zampa is quality. And I was absolutely, maybe I would be eating a humble pie saying after Harshit Rana and Arshdeep, they had a very good partnership towards the end and it helped India cross 250 run mark. Although I still feel India about 25 to 30 runs below par. But uh, purely from a bowling point of view, that is the reason why I wanted Kuldeep to be inside.
And finally, Bharat, before we close the show, 264 runs on the scoreboard. Do you think that's enough? Do you think the Indian bowling lineup, especially the pace attack, has enough armory in their bag to defend this total?
See, it again comes down to the kind of lines, perhaps more than lengths, the kind of lines that Indian pacers will bowl, because I fear that Harshit Rana in his first over will provide width. That's a problem with him. Even in the 2025 IPL, in his first over, he would go and provide width. That is exactly what happened in the first game. In his first over, he gave away 12 runs. That included two deliveries that were short and wide, where the Australian batters cracked the cut, and suddenly he had given away 12 runs in his first over. From there, it was always going to be tough for him. Yes, there is moment off the wicket. That is something that we saw with the Australian team. We saw with Xavier Bartlett, who basically specializes in movement off the seam, and Hazelwood drawing 44.4% fall shot. So there is movement of the wicket. But maybe the wicket would be a little bit quicker now because I think there was some spongy bounce in the first innings. That should help the Australian team. So it's going to be quite tough for the Indian bowlers. I think 280 was a very good score considering the inexperience in the Indian pace attack. But 264, it's a fighting total. If Indian pace bowlers raise their game, lift their game, get the lines right, don't give room on this in these conditions where the square boundaries are shorter, then I think India have a chance.
On that note, we'll take your leave. Shomik, final thoughts from you. Do you think India have a chance here, or is it going to be a struggle?
No, 263, anything above 215, the bowling side always has a chance. You have to, whatever the conditions, you have to go out there and will have to score those runs. So if India can chip in with a couple of early wickets, Australia would be under pressure. Their batting lineup is also not. It's like I mean, you can unsettle them with a few early wickets. So 263 is it's a fighting total. And on the face of it, it's not a winning total, but India will have to bowl very, very well. The role of the two spinners would be very important, as also for the fact of fielding. India will have to take their catches. So the way Australian fielders complemented their bowlers, Indian fielders will have to do the same. So the important thing would be to put Australia under pressure, dot balls. If you see Australia, the way Australia bowled, Hazelwood's first two overs were mids. So that is how you build pressure. So that if you bowl the number of dot balls you bowl, the amount of pressure, I mean, the bigger is the pressure on the opponents. So India have to focus on that. Let's see how it pans out.
All right. On that note, yes, Bartlett made his debut in January. What I meant to say was for the very first time in this series. Instead, I said debut. All right. So we'll take your leave. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We'll be back at the end of the game. So don't forget to join us then. Will India be able to chase this down, or will it be 2-0 for Australia? Let's see. Thank you so much, everyone.